All right, so here's going to be the recap here. It's going to be a red day recap for this Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Man, it was a tough day for me today. I had started off with these indices, and I had a really tough day. Stocks I did okay, could have done much better. Definitely gave some back. I was trading JDST. We'll look at that here in just a minute, but let's start off with this. The mini Russell, I believe this was my very first trade. I had a pairing pattern buy on the mini Russell, looking for a fairly close target. I just couldn't get there. It finally hit my stop down here. I went ahead, took a loss on the mini Russell, but I did a little bit better on the mini NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the mini NASDAQ. Once again, these are simple. I have 4 patterns that I'd look for. That's it, just 4. These are my own patterns. No, these are not. Has nothing to do with your classical chart patterns. It's nothing to do with pennants or support and resistance or anything like that. These are patterns I discovered back in the 80s. And these horizontal lines, this is something we call Einstein. It provides us with high probability targets once we start to pick up momentum. But anyway, let's take a look at, see how we did on this mini NASDAQ. All right, once again, a little bit better on the mini NASDAQ. In this case, it was an HF3 buy. It was an HF3 buy. This one actually hit target fairly quickly. We weren't in the trade very long, so we did hit profit target. Those are the only 2 trades that I made on the indices. I traded natural gas. Also traded the E-mini S&P, and it overall just wasn't a great day. I'll tell you what, we'll look at the results here in a minute. Let's go ahead and let's look at the stocks, and then we'll look at all the results together. All right, so once again, I do put out a watch list every morning of the stocks I'm watching. MRNA was definitely one that I saw that started to have some pretty good momentum coming in before the opening. I ended up buying this. It was around 840 or something, I think, prior to the opening. Nice little buy on MRNA. Really didn't give me too much stress. Once again, always like to get in before the opening because I like to see these explosions. I did have a couple targets up here. I did get out between once it started pulling back down. I was hoping we were going to go a lot higher, but we did not. We failed, so I ended up getting out, made a little bit of money on MRNA. The other thing I carried over from yesterday now, remember, JDST. Let's take a look at JDST. All right, on JDST, if you recall this morning, if you were with us during the first part of the morning show, you know I exited my long. I did come in long on the JDST. Made a little bit of money, decided to get back in, left a little bit obviously on the table. Probably should have just held through this, but I had a couple targets up here that I was looking at. So I went ahead and I took my took my profit here, re-entered up here, and I held on to this trade forever. I don't think it got out until the very end here, and I'll show you. It was at the pretty much close at the end of the day, right over here around 3:30, and went ahead and exited my buy. Definitely left some money on the table. So overall, it was a red day. Overall, it's a red day. Let's take a look and see what our results are. Once again, traded the E-mini S&P as well. Lost on the E-mini S&P. Also traded the gas and finally got out of that towards the end of the day. Lost money on the gas. So exited very late here on these 2 trades. Ended up losing money. So the net on that was minus 1707. Did a little bit better on the stocks. Really disappointed because I felt that I could have done a little bit better on the stocks. Definitely left money on the table for JDST. SNBR, basically all these others were just pretty much scalping, just getting in and getting out. Same with MARA route. All of these, Irene, got in a little bit late on Irene, but I was able to pull a little bit out of that. And same with MGOL. MGOL, a lot of volume today, and yeah, I think I left money on the table too. I think MGOL, if I'm not mistaken, was still going up when I got out. Dust just couldn't get moving. I was in Dust. As those that were watching it this morning, we were in that for a long time. Just wasn't going anywhere. So I finally got out of Dust, and that was on an HF1. So I'm thinking that that HF1 may still be setting up for tomorrow. If it is, I'm going to revisit Dust and maybe get in on that. So anyway, red day recap. It is what it is. And Thursdays are my favorite days. So usually have really good Thursdays. In this case, not so good. So a little disappointed on the overall action today, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. You know, Fridays are always iffy too. So we want to hit it early, and then we'll just see what the action looks like after a few hours after the opening. Whether we're going to continue or we're just going to wrap it up for the week and then wait until Monday. So anyway, we'll see tomorrow, and that should do it. Everybody have a good night.